What's up guys, and welcome back to Captaincy Candidates. If you were around on the channel last year, you would have seen Captaincy Candidates get introduced near the tail end of the season, and now we're going to do it for an entire season this year. But before we get into this video, if you want FPL content in your subscription box, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell to find out when we go live on the channel, and let's get on with Captaincy Candidates. If you're not familiar with Captaincy Candidates, this is the video where I go over the most popular captaincy choices from a bunch of polls over the internet, pick out the best 4, look at their stats and their possibilities of scoring in the next game week, and pick out for you who I think will be the best captaincy choices. I will rank them from 4 to 1, the last one being the best choice for the game week. And then for every game week after game week 1, I will look back at the previous game week to see if I picked the best out of the 4 options from the captaincy polls. So today we are starting off with the first game week in the Fantasy Premier League 2017-2018 season, and we are starting out with Gabriel Jesus coming in at 10.5 million. For this episode of Captaincy Candidates, we will be looking at last year's stats and the opponent's last year's stats to kind of try and figure out what the scores may be for these captains. Last year, Gabriel Jesus had 10 appearances in total for Manchester City and managed to be involved in 11 goals, with 7 of them scored by himself and getting 4 assists. His goal involvement whilst on the pitch last year was actually 50%, which is pretty good for a striker. His El Gamewek rating, and if you don't know what that is, its last game against game week opponent was actually NA, because they are playing Brighton in game week 1, and I don't believe Manchester City have played Brighton recently, and if they have, Gabriel Jesus wasn't involved. If we look at how Manchester City did as an attacking force last year, we can see they got 80 goals, which was the 3rd best in the Premier League last year, and had 633 attempts, which was also the 3rd best last year. However, their goal conversion was only 4th best, coming in at 12.6%. But that does mean they were one of the best attacking forces in the Premier League last season. And now that they've strengthened the squad, who knows, they may be even more prolific. Their opponents, Brighton, and this is from the Championship last year, conceded only 40 goals. That is actually quite a good record for the Championship and shows that Brighton are no pushovers defensively, but this is a step up in class against one of the best attacking forces in the Premier League. So Gabriel Jesus should, if he plays, be able to get on the score sheet and hopefully pick up some FPL points. Coming in at 3rd place is Kevin De Bruyne at 10 million, also from Manchester City. So a lot of what I said for Gabriel Jesus also is involved with the captaincy choice of Kevin De Bruyne. However, last year Kevin De Bruyne had more appearances, and we know a bit more about him because of that. He had 36 appearances in total, getting 6 goals and 21 assists. That means he was involved in 27 goals in total out of 36 appearances. His goal involvement was slightly lower than Gabriel Jesus's, 39.7% goals involved in, and his El Gamewek rating again does not exist. The reason Kevin De Bruyne comes in at 3rd instead of Gabriel Jesus is purely because I feel Kevin De Bruyne is more nailed on, more likely to play, whereas Gabriel Jesus still has Sergio Aguero to contend with, and who knows where Gabriel Jesus will actually play, whereas I feel like Kevin De Bruyne will be expected to do a very similar role to what he did last year, and that's get assists and set up his teammates. So I think Kevin De Bruyne is the more natural choice as a captain if you're going for that Manchester City game. Coming in at number 2 is Harry Kane, the most expensive striker in the game. For 12.5 million, you are getting the Golden Boot winner for the last 2 years in the Premier League. There is plenty of reasons to be considering Harry Kane as your captain for most of the season. Last year he had 30 appearances in total and got 29 goals with 7 assists. That's an incredible 36 goals involved in, and his goal involvement was at 56.3% for last year. The El Gamewek rating, however, against Newcastle the last time he played him, which was in the 2015-2016 season, was actually 0 goals and 0 assists, as it was the game where Newcastle had already been relegated but then decided to win against Tottenham Hotspurs 5-1. Tottenham as an attacking force last year were actually one of the best attacking forces in the league as well. They got 86 goals in total, which was the best in the league, and also had 669 attempts on goal, also the best in the league. Their goal conversion, however, was at 3rd place with 12.9%, just above Manchester City. Meanwhile, their opponents, Newcastle, in the 2015-2016 season in the Premier League, conceded 65 goals, which was 17th in the Premier League, and also conceded 315 shots on their goal, which was 13th in the league. Now I think this might be a bit of baptism by fire. I know there's plenty of people saying Kane doesn't start seasons very strongly, and also there's also the Wembley factor and all of that jazz, but this is probably the first season where Harry Kane has had a proper pre-season's worth of training, and I have a feeling that he's going to be going for the hat-trick of golden boots. So I don't see why, just because of a couple of seasons, you'd write Harry Kane off. But with all of that hanging over his head, that is why he doesn't come in first place. And first place is Romelu Lukaku, coming in at 11.5 million. Now for 11.5 million, you are getting the main man up front for Manchester United now. And last year at Everton, who aren't going to create as many chances as Manchester United do, you had a player that had 37 appearances, 25 goals and 6 assists, meaning he was involved in 31 goals in total. His goal involvement rate was at 50.8%, and his Gamewek rating against West Ham, it was 0 goals and 0 assists in the last game. However, in I think around 7 games before that, he has always scored against West Ham, so he may do it again. Manchester United as an attacking force last year had 54 goals, which was only the 8th best in the league, and they had 591 attempts, which was 4th best in the league. Their goal conversion rate was pretty terrible, however, at 9.1%, which was 16th best in the league. Now, if they can improve their goal conversion, they may improve their output, and Romelu Lukaku is definitely the striker that can do that, considering his goal conversion was a lot better than Zlatan Ibrahimovic's last year. Their opponents, West Ham, as far as goals conceded, they conceded 64 last year, which was the 15th best in the Premier League, and shots conceded was 329, which was also 15th in the league. So my captaincy choice for this game week is Romelu Lukaku at 11.5 million. I hope he returns to his goal scoring form against West Ham as an FPL player and not as a West Ham follower. But I really think this could be Romelu Lukaku announcing himself to the Premier League as the main man at Manchester United and one of the main players to have in your FPL sides. Anyway guys, that is it for this episode. Next episode of the Captaincy Candidates, we will look back at this video and see how well I did, and also use the stats from the first game week to try and pick out a captaincy choice for game week 2. So if you've enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and consider hitting that notification bell so you know when I go live on this channel. Also, check out the links in the description down below if you want to support the channel. Thank you guys so much for all the support during 30 days of FPL. It's been a crazy ride, and today is the final day of it, so thank you once again for all of the support. There'll be one more video coming up today, which should be the mid-price strikers episode, as we try and get through all the positions before the FPL starts on Friday. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.